All right, is everybody at timestamp 0? In 3, 2, 1, go. And we've got our first hour-long episode.
Yeah. So this is where we begin really our
Do you have
ET riff.
cancer?
Yeah, it's like you can just see the pitch of the show being like, well, it's like ET, but with the kid from Firestarter, Carrie or whatever. It's just like 80s psychic or 80s or 70s psychic child, 11's just kind of an encapsulation of all of those. Which is what I like. I like that she's not really a Wonder One
It's a
comparison.
wonder.
It's just like, but there's just a lot of psychic children in the 80s.
They should have used Tina, what's her name, from Friday the 13th, Part 7.
I was also going to mention that one.
The best Carrie.
Now, this is more of a deep cut and not nearly as mainstream as most of what this show is riffing on. I forget, have you seen Phantasm?
Yes.
Do you think that movie could have been an influence on this with the tone and the kid protagonist and like being in real danger and stuff? Like that's obviously much more of a deep cut, so I don't know.
I want to say yes, but nothing that that I've seen on screen has told me that they went that deep.
Hmm.
Um, but it's possible just because that was such a popular thing in the 80s.
Hmm. Yeah, because I mean, we can go on and on. Like E.T., The Goonies, Monster Squad, like it's all of that is in here. And in Mike's room, we also get a poster Easter egg of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is really cool. I also call bullshit on that. There's a readily available poster, smaller poster that a kid could buy it for his room. A year after that movie flopped.
The coolest thing that this show references is George Romero's Day of the Dead, because that's not the one everyone else would go to.
That's true.
Even if it was an 80s piece, they would just be like, oh, they're replaying, like Night of the Living Dead or something.
Yeah, because that's the public domain one. There's also a few different music cues that the show, like the show doesn't always stick to just 80s music. Like we get the cover of Heroes that came later, but we put that here. But there's a scene in season 4 with Hopper where he's talking about his daughter, and they play some music from The Hitcher, and it really fits. Like it really works, but like you would not notice that if you haven't seen The Hitcher. Like it's not like a super well known or heard
I haven't
score,
seen that
but
yet.
they do that a few times. You'd probably like it. It's like a slasher movie meets an 80s action movie. It's just those two things in one.
It's getting a 4K release, so maybe I'll do that and watch it. I want to see the shitty remake too.
Well, it's got Sean Bean, so that's something. I haven't seen
and
it.
Sophia Bush.
That's true.
How do you feel about their relationship?
I think they're great. That's all things I don't love in season 3. It's some of the kid antics are fun and entertaining, but we also get there a little quick. It's like just so much of season 3 have to be them broken up, and then like some of that drama is like okay, whatever. Like, but when the relationship's a little bit more pure, like this, at these first couple seasons, I do like them a lot.
Well, and I especially hate how it's handled because I don't know if you remember, but that whole thing is all down to Max butting her head into someone else's relationship.
Right. Which is why I don't like Max in season 3, but then I love her in season 4. Season 4 redeems Max for me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this intro much instantly iconic. I love the score to the show.
It's a great score, but like this is the most generic opening credits I've ever seen.
But it feels authentic. I mean, it's very Terminator, with the letters coming across the screen and then forming the title. Like it's very simple, but that's what I like about it.
No, that's fair. I don't hate it. I miss like proper openings.
Mm-hmm.
At least the show has something. Most shows are just like, here's a title card.
Also, skip intro. The skip intro button just keeps getting like bigger and bigger.
I'm not gonna lie. If we weren't doing this for a commentary, I would have totally skipped the intro.
My favorite thing about the show and why I think it's as big of a phenomenon as it is, it's one of the best shows I've seen that gives equal screen time. Again, I'm mainly talking about the first season, but how it gives equal screen time to the adults, the teenagers, and the children. Like everyone has a character they can relate to, and everyone at a different age is going to get something out of this. Like a kid watching the show is going to get something different out of it than an adult will, but it's accessible to everybody. It's one of the best examples I've seen of trying to make something widely accessible and actually succeeding. Because it's a little Harry Potter where it gets to mature with the characters to a point, but the point of view is usually just from the kids in Harry Potter. Here, I haven't seen a lot of shows like this where it's like it's this type of ensemble where it's like no, the adults, teenagers, and kids are all treated equally. It's not a dumber show when the kids are on screen. It's not necessarily a slower show. Like it's all treated the same, and everyone has a character they can latch onto. And at least this first season, I think, balances that stuff really well.
No, I agree. And I do agree with the kid growing up too, which is one thing I'm worried about with that Harry Potter show now. Are they gonna be able to put out a season every year?
Yeah, that's why I think that should be animated, because that would solve a lot of potential problems.
Would it look at Invincible?
Well, I mean, that's taking a while, but I'm just saying more from a visual standpoint.
True. Noted cocaine addict, Charlie Heaton.
Yeah, I know he got in trouble for something a while ago. That was early too. That was like Stranger Things season 2. Like, so there was a minute there of like, oh, is he gonna get fired? But no, he got to. I hope he's
No,
clean.
it's just funny to me that he does cocaine, yet he still gives such a like downer performance.
Yeah, you wouldn't guess it. I'm also sure the show increased Eggo Waffle's popularity. Product placement.
It bothers people for some reason.
Yeah. I've definitely seen bad examples of product placement, but more often than not, I'm like, yeah, this is just the stuff we see every day in our lives. Why is it suddenly jarring or weird when we see it in a show or movie? I don't understand that.
I have that with Metropolis or Smallville in Man of Steel. So everybody's like, "Oh, you got to go to IHOP and Sears." I'm like,
Sears, it's like, yeah.
Have you ever been to a small town? You can't turn around without running into something.
Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
What do you want to see? Generic cola and beer?
That usually distracts me more. Where it's like, oh look, there's the fake product in this fictional universe.
The only one that has ever been weird to me is the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't believe that anybody uses Bing over Google.
Nope. No one does. No one ever has. They don't exist.
Fuck you, Sony.
I also think now I haven't read or seen Firestarter. Would you say that kid's a better comparison to 11 than like a Carrie?
I've only seen the shitty remake.
Oh, okay.
I think Carrie's an apt example with what she can do because she's also telekinetic.
Mm. Well, and in terms of personality, like at least of this first season, I think there's a bit of Newt here. You know, that like traumatized, soft-spoken child character. I've never heard that comparison before, but I could see that being an inspiration.
Now that I have more Alien on the mind because I've been watching Alien, I can definitely see it. Thank God they didn't make a season 2 where she dies off screen. Oh. I don't care what you think about Alien 3. That was stupid.
I hate that opening.
The beginning in the theatrical cut might be the most funnily edited like funeral I've ever seen. Where it like cuts really quickly back and forth between them dumping bodies in the fire and a dog being burst open.
It's going for something. But I haven't watched the alternate cut yet, so I'm curious about the differences.
It's got better editing.
Yeah, that's what I noticed through watching the theatrical Alien 3. It's like, man, like this is a good looking movie. Like you can already see David Fincher's chops. It's just the editing and the audio are just not good.
I mean, I'm gonna give a hot take, and I'll say it again when we actually review it. I think I like the theatrical cut better.
Wow.
No, it's so weird going back to this season because Steve will never look like this again.
Right. It's like his wardrobe, his hair. It's like they haven't quite nailed it yet. But you see that a lot with TV. That makes them kind of funny or interesting to go back to when they have like their season 1 look, and then at some point over the course of season 1 or season 2 they nailed it, and then it's like, okay, now that is how that character looks for like 8 more years. And it's like really unnatural and like not realistic.
Yeah, see,
It's
like even in this scene, he's extending the invite to Barb.
Mm-hmm.
He made that one. He told that one kid to shut up when he was like saying something about. I think it was about Will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm supposed to believe that he's a jerk.
Yeah, like the scene is awkward, but he's not being a bad person. And again, I don't know why they make that choice with Will's hair. Where you look at Jonathan's hair here, and it's like it's kind of messy, you know, and like not professionally done. But then you look at the bowl cut Will has in season 4. It's like that's not what Jonathan had. Like, it's like you can give a slightly more dignified haircut, you assholes.
No, but it is really funny. Because that's like his haircut is what you'd expect it to look like if the show's like in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of touched on it, but Dustin is my favorite of the younger kids.
He's great. It's very funny, very charming. And
Um,
Lucas is great too.
he might be my least favorite.
He just doesn't get a lot of interesting stuff to do on his own.
It feels like the only thing they have for him is he's the one that makes everyone else's life difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, in season 1, I don't trust 11. I forget. Does he even have anything to do in season 2?
They get close. Well, they do the love triangle with him and Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
So they do that stuff, but they also one direction they're going in season 2 is that like, oh, Lucas is gonna be the brave one because like he has the Rambo suit up montage scene where it's like, oh, that's what he's, and then the show kind of drops that for a while, and it's like, oh, you had something, and then you get a little bit more of that in season 4, but
And then in
yeah,
season
like I like that
3,
idea.
he's kind of also like
He
giving
gets very
bad
little to it.
relationship advice in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most of the season is just Max being unreasonable, which I guess works better because they're like 14, but
Yeah,
it's still not pleasant to watch.
yeah, for sure.
And then in season 4, he's the, well, I want to be one of the cool kids, so bye.
Yeah, but I do like that they lean into his athletic side, getting into basketball and stuff, and then he gets, like a big fight scene at the end. So like that's something.
Yeah, I don't mind like that. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Characters who turn their back on their friends.
Hmm.
I totally believe he's driving.
It's one of the lesser effects shots this season.
I like this song.
Hmm. Yeah, the show has a lot of obvious picks, like a lot of really mainstream popular music, but it's also introduced me to some good stuff. I think the
This
show
one's also
usually
just
has some good
unintentionally
soundtrack.
funny, given the like main plot of this story of this season.
Hmm. And this is also just like a really believable, older brother, younger brother scene.
No, I like this that they use the music to hide like their parents arguing.
Hmm. I don't know where Jonathan got that Evil Dead poster, but it is pretty cool.
Out of all the kids as well, what is his name? The kid that plays Noah, or no, that plays Will. His name is Noah. Um,
Oh, like Noah Schnapp or something.
yeah, he doesn't. He changes the most by the time you get to season 4. Like the kid in season 4 doesn't look anything like this kid.
Oh yeah, like he's very tall.
Like all of the others, it's like,
Sounds
yeah, I
completely
mean,
different.
I can see that they're just older, more tall and
Mhm.
grown up. It's like no, like puberty hits you like a truck or something. You don't look anything like you used to. Although apparently we won't get into it, but apparently he's kind of a dick in real life.
He's done some stuff where it's like I want to give him some leeway. Where it's like, okay, he's young, he has time to learn, but there's stuff. So it's like, okay, come on, man, like dial it back.
And apparently him and Millie
I
Bobby
want to
Brown
root
are
for you.
like best friends in real life.
Hmm. Or at least were. Like I don't know if they still are, but there's just, it's not younger people. You want to give them more of a pass, but it's also like, okay, you gotta
You gotta
gotta learn at
straighten
some
up.
point.
Remember when you could get a phone for $20?
Woo. Yeah, a lot of people have gotten rid of landlines now, and probably shouldn't. It's for emergencies and stuff, but it's the problem is the cost. It's like people don't want to pay for both a landline and a smartphone, which is fair. Like that makes sense. And as much as this show gets accused of being too of like fetishizing the 80s too much or leaning too into like the good old days, things were so much better and cool and nostalgia. I still think a lot of those like specific elements are downplayed, like the more analog technology and stuff like that stuff's there, but I don't ever feel like they
I think they
wink
ever
too much at the
glorify it.
audience. Yeah, I don't think they ever like the bikes. Obviously, are a really big part, but like they're important to these kids, important to the characters. But stuff like phones, like there's not like you see like oh I can't wait for these to not have a wire, or like VHS tapes. It's like yeah they're there. Like you'll see a VHS tape when the scene needs it, but it never feels too like in your
Well, and I
face.
mean, even when they do use a lot of technology, usually it doesn't end up doing anything.
Sure.
Like, if anything, they're held back by the time period they're in.
Mm-hmm.
If this was set in modern day, they just upload like proof. Here's the psychic girl. The government are trying to kill her onto YouTube, and it'd be over.
Yeah, and this show really like just doesn't get into politics or social issues of the time. Really, the most you get is just the Cold War backdrop. And for what the
It's
show
fine.
is, like I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, this I don't need this show to tell me about left versus right wing.
Mhm.
These are totally the doctors from ET.
Mhm.
What year does season 1 take place in? Is it 84?
I believe we start in November '83, so we're after Return of the Jedi at this point.
Are we?
Yeah, that's summer '83.
When does Empire come out?
80.
Oh. For some reason, I always think of Empire as being mid 80s.
Oh, weird.
I don't know why.
Well, that's of a lot of those big movies is very timeless and harder to like pinpoint an exact year. It was made compared to a lot of other popular '80s stuff. But yeah,
When are we
that's one
starting
thing.
our Star Wars channel?
We'll get through it. The show does do a pretty good job though, paying attention to like movie releases and stuff. Like, the following year, Ghostbusters will come out, and then they dress up as the Ghostbusters for Halloween, and then the following year after that, Back to the Future comes out, and they see Back to the Future. So those are the details they get right.
No, and the Back to the Future one is the greatest thing ever because if it's Robin and Steve when they're like drugged out of their mind,
and she's like
and they're
trying to
trying
explain the plots.
um, the greatest like Star Wars episode is that '70s show where they all see A New Hope for the first time,
Mhm.
and then Eric just won't shut up about it.
I still think they should have saved that for season 2 because
What?
of that '70s show.
That's
Because
season
then
1, is it?
no, that's season 1. Because season 1 starts, the show starts set in '76, but then they jump to '77 because they want to do a Star Wars episode, and then the show's just '77 to '79 for like 8 years.
Yeah. No, that show is on a weird sliding timeline.
So that's what I mean. It's like you could have waited a little longer to jump to '77.
Like that's one of my favorite sitcoms, but that is a weird thing. Like I don't even think they graduate. Like they just stop going to school at some point.
Do you think when we get to season 4, they try to humanize Matthew Modine's character a little too much? Because he is a horrible father. Like he is a monster.
Yes, no, like after all the stuff they set up in season 2 with what he did, like what that like the agency was responsible for. No, it should be no, you're a monster, but I need you right now.
Mm-hmm. His performance is good though. Like there is stuff with him in season 4.
I just that whole California subplot is my least favorite because half of it has fuck all to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like season 3 ends. Oh, that's so interesting. Like they're splitting off, half the characters. Oh, it's to fuck around until they get brought back into the plot. Okay.
But that also is an element of the show that feels very alien. You know, with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, like that's kind of how like this subsect of the government kind of operates in this show. Like they're the company or they're the institution or whatever that's
The
behind a lot of these.
Institute. What the
Yeah,
hell's that actually
it's
from?
I don't know.
There's something where it's just the Institute.
It's probably in an X-Men comic somewhere or something.
Oh, it's a Stephen King book.
Mm.
Which is, it might as well be an X-Men book.
Hmm.
It's about a institute that kidnaps a bunch of gifted children. It's all right for a modern king. Stephen King is my favorite author, but like the drugs helped. And we're setting up the thing that'll happen later.
Yep. Well, the New Mutants movie didn't really work out, so should we just make the Institute movie? That's what it sounds.
I heard they were.
Just get Mike Flanagan.
He's too busy doing The Life of Chuck and The Exorcist.
Great. Yay. And this is.
I almost asked if that's how he died, and then I remembered, oh no, like they purposely put him there.
And I really like that. I think this show captures the small town feeling better than any of the other seasons. Where like, I like that these aren't just isolated characters in their own little stories. Like, because even though we've never seen Benny and Hopper have any screen time together, you totally buy their connection with how Hopper talks about him and how Hopper is smart, and he's like, yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Well,
Like,
and season 2 and 3 especially are more personal like issues, so you don't get a lot of the like how this affects the town, because it doesn't. It really just affects the core characters. And then season 4, we got to go all over the place. And then Hawkins gets blown up at the end.
Well, that's like the potentially exciting thing for season 5. It's like, okay, we're done trying to keep this a secret. Like, this is now officially a completely alternate reality.
See, I don't think it is, because they have a cover story at the end. It was like gas mains or something.
Yeah, but then at the end of that show, the clouds are turning red and like it's
snowing
upside down and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Which is weird with some of the set photos, because it also looks like they're just in a town again.
Yeah, we'll see.
I am going to be sad when the show ends, though, I have to admit.
Yeah, I like looking forward to it.
But we're going to get all those spin-offs.
Yay.
Give me a Steve spin-off, you cowards.
But another reason why the show really resonates with people is just how it flips tropes and traditional
dynamics. And it's not obnoxious about it. Like, aren't we so smart for, flipping the script? No. You just did something kind of cool. Now let me enjoy it.
Yeah, I think Lonnie is a character that falls more into just being a bit of a stereotype. Like, yeah, he's just your typical deadbeat dad, but there's a lot of people like that. Like,
most of the parents in the show are like the only one that isn't his choice. Karen especially gets it bad in season 3.
Oh yeah, that was a choice.
No, like Lucas is kind of a dick in this scene.
But I also
danger,
think
Will Robinson, danger.
Danger. I think Lucas asks a lot of fair questions, though. He's like, we don't know what's going on. Let's tell the parents. Because that's the thing with Lucas, even if he's like not the most interesting character on his own, like you do need him for
he's the brains of the party.
Yeah, you get that a little bit.
I'm just going with apparently Mike is like the heart of the party.
Yeah, and see outdoor scenes like this, I'm curious where they shot this because this feels very not rehearsed, but like in a good way. It just looks very natural. Like it's raining a little bit. You know, everything's dirty and foggy. Like this just feels like a very real location
This
to have
looks
been to
more like
at some
Indiana
point.
than the
Like
other
Indiana,
seasons
yeah.
do. As someone that lives
Because
in Indiana.
well, and it looks like real natural rain because 90% of the time in movies or show when it's raining, it's like pouring rain because it's fake rain because they want it to show up on camera. This looks like it just happened to be shooting a little bit while raining a little bit while we were shooting the scene. You know, like just the way the water is hitting the car and stuff. Like just it feels very natural and not manufactured.
Oh, also, just on a side note, I found this kind of funny. Alien 3 came out the year I was born.
Oh,
Of course, I get born the same year the bad one comes out.
and like I said, a lot of what I love about this first season, why I can sympathize with some people who feel like the show kind of left them behind or into the later seasons, there is just a coziness and a simplicity to this first season that I just really like. You know, where it's a lot more mellow, it's a lot slower, it's a lot more simple. We're not at taking over the world, super extra high stakes plots yet. Which again, I'm torn on because that's what you want for a show. You don't want a show to be the same thing over and over again. You do want it to evolve and the stakes to get higher. And I'll give the show a lot of credit for that. There's just that gonna be there's always gonna be that part of me that's like, yeah, but I do particularly like this first season and just how simple it was. But I also understand that you can't just do this for 8 seasons. So it's a balance.
Yeah, no, I've seen this guy in something too.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a character actor, man.
Oh, what is it that I've seen him in though? Is he in the Dawn of the Dead remake?
I don't think he'll be able to find who that character is.
Probably has a full wiki page, let's be real.
It's gotta suck to be that Lonnie actor though, where you're brought in, you're gonna have this redemption arc, and you're gonna come back. and then just kidding, we're never gonna show you again. We're never gonna bring you back. I wonder if they'll bring him back in the final season. I think they could.
Yeah, maybe. I found him. He does have a Wikipedia, a fandom wiki page.
What else has he been in?
I'm pulling it up now. Hang on. David Dwyer. And his name is Earl, by the way, in the show.
Oh, yeah, it looks like an Earl.
David Dwyer. What else is he? Oh, he's in Remember the Titans. That
Oh,
is like
that's
my.
cool. I would not have recognized. I haven't seen that in like 15 years.
That is my like third favorite sports film.
Hmm,
I love that movie. Don't
that's a
know
good one.
why.
I need to watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's on Disney Plus. And it's funny because I showed it to my buddy who's a big football fan, but he normally hates sports movies. He loved it. And because
Yeah,
I think what's cool about that movie is it like the good sports movies realizes most of the audience isn't there for football.
hmm Yeah, if they want to watch football, they're going to watch that at home.
Yeah.
They're going to watch actual football.
I hate the way IMDb lists like filmographies.
I know, it's a nightmare.
He's not
It's
been in
such a
anything else that I've seen.
it's such a relief when somebody has a Wikipedia page, just because it's so much easier to find. Like, okay, here's the stuff they've been in.
Yeah, he unfortunately does not.
Mm.
Oh, he passed. Did he pass away?
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay, maybe he didn't. I don't know. It just acted like he did.
In the live chat, Teddy just said that this is one of those shows where like a random bird will show up in an episode and you assume it has its own wiki page.
I mean, I just assume that about anything popular. Like, there's somebody that's gonna fill that in.
This has to have a massive fan wiki. Probably be better to
Robert,
use
that guy was in your favorite show,
Which one?
Dawson's Creek.
Oh. Okay.
And he was on everyone's grandfather's favorite show, Walker Texas Ranger.
Of course he was.
I don't hate Walker Texas Ranger though. It was a fun show to just watch with the grandparents. Okay, Teddy, welcome back from work. Thank you. We'll be here all night, literally. And then, like I said, for anybody who wants to just rewatch specific episodes, I will be uploading at least most of these as individual videos. Probably follow after. Give us some time on the Mondays uploads because I've been slacking on streaming games.
And I think a big part of the reason why a lot of people latch on to Barb and feel like they kind of do her dirty is Nancy is being a bad friend in this episode. Like, she keeps not listening to her. She keeps ignoring her. She keeps kind of siding with her boyfriend and his friends over who's supposed to be her best friend, which something you should avoid.
That's
doing.
the problem with being the, like, in this case, mom friend to a high schooler.
But also Nancy's like in an awkward but still sympathetic and relatable situation where like she just had like that dinner table fight with Mike where it's really awkward, but it's this weird position for Nancy to be in of like my younger brother's friend has disappeared and that's awful and I should be sad about it, but like should that directly affect my life? Like, granted, she could probably be a better older sister in that scenario, but it's still like should that affect my plans or what? Like, it's a very complicated situation for a teenager to be in.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
for
most
sure.
teenagers prefer just not to think about it.
I don't think she necessarily does anything super wrong here. Like, obviously, she didn't know that this would lead to what happened, and this is kind of her driving motivator throughout the rest of the season and season 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's something she feels deep guilt for. It's more when you get into peer pressure stuff later, where she could have stepped in more and been like, "Hey, Barb, if you don't want to do that, that's cool." Or
Eddie says, my favorite episode of season 1 is the one when Hopper finally starts going, there is a conspiracy mode, like the one where he pretends to be drunk to get info. No, that's got some good stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have a single favorite episode. Like, I this season, I kind of just feels like a piece. Like, I don't know if I have a favorite episode.
I think I have that more with later seasons, just because we do break off so much more with other characters, other subplots. Where
I have favorite moments in this season.
Yeah,
like when Steve gets the bat and beats the shit out of the Demogorgon. It's like, that's awesome.
And here's Hopper's booty call, who will never be seen or mentioned again.
Yeah, I forgot about her. Let's see if she has a fandom wiki page.
Yeah, she was also murdered by a Demogorgon, and just nobody knows.
Okay, she does not have a page, but she is part of the minor characters list.
Mm. But that is one of my favorite like season 1 Hopper moments. Though, is when he figures out that all the places are bugged, or that his place is bugged, and he's like looking for it. That's always a fun
It's
situation to
Jumanji.
pick a character. Yeah.
Oh, his one night stand is in Doctor Sleep for a minute.
Oh, cool.
She's Violet's mother. I don't remember who Violet is, but
Is that the main girl,
no.
or is that another? I don't remember her name.
The main girl is she has a weird name. Abba.
Abra.
Abra.
Okay.
Abra.
Or Abra. Yeah, like the Abra. But this is one of the instantly iconic moments of the show. That's just very clever and simple, and you just get it. Like, she has a board game, flips it upside down, says that's where he is. It's
Oh, and
instantly iconic.
the Upside Down. And she's in Doom Patrol for 8 episodes.
Oh,
Not doing too bad. I do too. Teddy, I think the one thing season 1 does better than all of seasons is it does feel like a full piece, like everything is done well. With the other seasons, there are great moments, but no so great arcs. Yeah, like we mentioned this earlier. I don't know if you were here. The only one that gets like a full arc in each season is Steve. And characters that are connected to Steve.
But this one just feeling and being structured so much like a book. It's like saying, like, what's your favorite chapter of The Shining or something? Like, that's just not usually how people read or think about books. You just think about the piece
We
as a whole.
drop the chapter thing after the season, don't we?
No, I don't think they do. They just keep starting over. So it's always chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But I think they do keep that.
This show is going to get a good run, though. 5 seasons is not bad.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a modern show.
Especially for a Netflix show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way Netflix. You have to be the biggest show in the world. 5 billion people need to watch it, or fuck you, you're not going past season 2.
Yeah, and I do think that is going to end up biting them in the ass, though. Like, what are they going to do when the show ends?
Got the spinoff. And that's what makes you nervous about them not putting this show on home video again. Because they're going to say, well, that we want people to subscribe to Netflix to watch it. We don't want people unsubscribing and buying the Blu-ray. And then it's like, if that's what you're worried about, then charge like $150 for the Blu-ray or something. Like, I don't care. Like, make it pricey. But
Teddy, like, season 4 is probably my second favorite season, but man, do I find the California arc boring. The Russian arc I like more than most people, but I admit it should have been a half season thing.
Yeah,
I would put season 4. I'd put season 4 in my third favorite. So for me, it would go 3, 1, 4, 2. 2 is the most like. I really don't like a lot of this, but it had like there's moments. And this is the only time we will ever see Steve smoke.
Yeah. It works though, because like this is a great example of a scene where, in terms of perspective, where it's easy at the time to see Steve as just, oh, he's part of the cool kid group, like he smokes, he drinks and stuff. But now we know enough about Steve that, like, oh, he's just putting on an act. Like, he's not a smoker. He's just doing it around because he's around these friends. Like, it's like, we have a better understanding of his character. Like, oh, well, this is how he's acting in this environment because he's putting on a front. Like, this isn't really who this guy is. He's just fallen into this stereotype and is just running with it. Which is what most young people want. Most young people don't want to be outcasts. Yeah, this is one of the bad.
Don't hold your thumb so close to the damn.
Ugh. Yeah, like Nancy kind of helped peer pressure her into this. She should have, and then she does give her enough attention after this.
No, that is true, but also like, oh yeah, like see, this is weird.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Well, and it's obviously a mistake. He shouldn't be, but like it's very voyeuristic, but without, in my opinion, being too pervy. It gets
Gets
close.
there.
It gets close, but
The
like there's more
moment you
going
were
on
taking,
in that scene.
the moment you were taking photos of someone in their underwear without them knowing.
It's obvious. It's crossing a line. It's don't do it. Like, it's obviously wrong.
Hey, what's up, Mars? Yep, we are back. We are back. We do one review and one commentary a month since we run two different channels. Uh, yeah, we watched season one. Steven think. I can't read what that says because that's stupid hard.
This guy.
I never had that.
I do like him. Yeah.
If I pop out the chat, I'll be able to see it better. There we go. No, well, we appreciate you coming back. Always good to see you. We're just watching some Stranger Things.
And
this alone would make a cool horror film.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's terrifying. And this is where we start to lean into the poltergeist element, where you have a missing child and mixing technology with that.
Season one was the best. Season two was all right. Season three was mid. Season four was not that good. Hey, fair enough. We can definitely see why people would only really like the first season.
Yeah, and I like every season. There's just different things I latch onto,
and this is probably her best performance in the show.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like
by season 3, she's just kind of like the wacky mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I am glad it brought her back into the limelight. Like, she was a really good actor. I don't like Tim Burton, but Beetlejuice is awesome.
Well, it's we always love a good comeback, you know, when actors have like their own.
Don't call it a comeback. She's been here for years.
But no, this is a great return to form for sure.
Oh my God, he's asking her a question. It's also convenient that every time this song plays, it's always at the same spot.
Hmm.
Mars, they killed off Eddie in the 4th season, which was really sad. They decided to kill off Hopper, then bring him back. Then they bring back Max's sister, but they don't bother to bring back Eddie.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Eddie, like, he has a complete arc.
Eddie's also the one-off character that dies that season. They do it every season.
Yeah.
I also think it was dumb that they brought up Max back. Like, that was a jump the shark moment. But we'll get there when we get to the final season.
We disagree on that. I would have been upset in a not good way if they went there, or at least I would have done that differently. But that's just I have to see how the final season plays out. And with Eddie, yeah, it sucks because he was like a new fan favorite and a new standout. But we also got one more season to go, so
we have too many characters as it is.
We have too many characters as it is, and good for that actor because there's a lot of stuff he's doing that he probably wouldn't be.
He's going to be Johnny Storm.
Yeah, he's going to be Johnny Storm. We just saw him in A Quiet Place day one. You know, he's one of the main characters. That he's in Gladiator 2.
Still can't believe we're making a Gladiator 2.
Something, but it's just that is a scenario where if you like that actor, it's like, well, that's kind of what you want, right? You want like a really big role or moment in this big show and get attention, and then get out and do other stuff. You know, because if they kept him for season 5, there's a lot of stuff he wouldn't be able to do. So that's the trade-off. Like with Steve, like I know he's done some movies, 1 or 2 I think you've seen, and Like, I like Joe Keery a lot. Like, I like him a lot of the show. I hope he gets good stuff after the show's done, because
He did
a
that
lot of these
horror
actors never do.
movie. He did that horror movie. I can't remember, but he's like a content creator or whatever that like kills people. And then he was on that show Fargo, but I haven't watched it yet. Nah, it says W episode. Yes, I mean this is a good episode. How do I join your podcast, or are you not hiring? We're not really hiring anyone. Like I don't pay anything.
This is just a hobby.
But this is just a hobby. We just have the three of us for right now. If we ever do get a spot open, I'd be happy to let you know.
Yeah, if you're not on the Haven of Horror Discord, find that and get on there.
Probably need to update the link. Getting paid in movie experience, or you're not? That's true. We are getting movie experience. Yeah, no. At this point, you are a creep.
Yeah, like, it's a mistake. Don't do it. He just has that weird, but he's also taking pictures of Barb. It's like he has that weird photographer gene, where that's just what people do. Like, they just observe people.
Teddy says, "I want to be your mascot." Like I said, Mars. Right now, we just don't have an opening. It's full with like the three of us.
And we got a lot of stuff planned for the rest of the year.
But if we get a spot open, we will definitely let you know. The mascot would be their logo, nothing else.
And the thing with Barb and Nancy too is that we're flipping that kind of old slasher stereotype where, like, Barb would usually be more your typical final girl archetype, and Nancy would be the one taken out or killed in this scenario, and they flip it where Nancy ends up being our main final girl, so to speak, for this show, which again I think it pulls off, and it is a flip, but we have subverted that before. We need to stop pretending like that's a new thing. Like, Jesus Christ, Scream came out in the mid-90s.
However, if anybody would like to join, there is the link to our Discord. You are free to join and chat with us. And then, like I said, if we have any openings, we will definitely let people know. All right, that is season 2, episode 2, or season 1, episode 2.